Hey, how's it going? So, I'm gonna just tell you right now, I may well get interrupted, and this was not. It's not like a normal reading because it's just not happening that way, but I might get interrupted. So, I wanted to talk about, well, a few things, but like atheism for one. Where I have it written down. Don't worry, I'm not going to read a bunch of stuff. Oh, here it is. But I wanted to talk about atheism, Stargate Atlantis, faith, revelations, and false prophets. As that's just what I've been talking about a lot lately. And I did catch something before this that kind of got me a little fired up, but I pulled a card from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, and the card that fell out was Unmarked Trail, and the subtitle is Revelation. So, well, I don't know. Maybe I should read it, but I won't. So, I've been talking a lot about the stuff that's been coming across my feed, and like the religious stuff has been coming. I'm not like punching in like anything asking for it. What happens is I'll look at something like some ancient aliens type thing, and that's when it starts sending me the religious stuff. Like I've been watching Cryon for years, and I didn't get all of that. So isn't that interesting? I did write in there. It's a good thing I'm a suspicious. Like life has just made me a suspicious bitch because I am like, why? Why is it like that? Why did you say that? Like everything. Just well, I was gonna say I will say just to myself because there's usually no one here that I'm saying anything to. Like it's me and the cat. So have I mentioned that I talk to myself? I fully talk to myself. And I don't know why some people think it's so crazy. Like, if you talk to yourself, like, why? I think it's crazier to ignore that you're there to talk to. That's weird to me. I don't know. Maybe it's an only child thing. Sidetracked. Get back over where you were trying to talk about. So, but I watched the religious stuff because I was raised in it, and so the stuff that I remember is pretty apocryphal. Is that's interesting that I said that one. Apocrypha are the books. I just learned this recently because here's a peeve I didn't know was it's not a pet peeve, it's a pest peeve that I just developed, but it's been with me since I was a kid, and I was actually attending Catholic school, and you'd have all this Bible study. Like you knew that's what it was. It was talking about people in the Bible and Jesus and saints. I don't know, just like the big names, like the ones that got movies, Moses and Jesus and Noah. um because they're the exciting stories, and it's kind of reflected in all of our media anyway, like alien, like different stuff. I'm not saying Jesus was like a pilot or a xenomorph. I'm just saying there's an arc to the stories where there's like a good and an evil, and it's like things are good and hopeful, but then they could be like really horrible and scary and bad, and then against all the odds, even though the evil thing is just continuously there, the good wins out. Always hope shines through, and it's just always like it never ends. Kind of like, well, kind of like what we live now, but we don't have to. Like, well, anyway, I got sidetracked again. What was I talking about? Oh, just like all of these passages. Oh, the thing that annoys me about it, it's that there's so many names for epistles, psalms, verses, but no chapters that I can remember. parables. I don't know. They just have a lot of names for all of the like chapter and verse in the Bible, but not chapter, I don't think. Which is weird. It's a book and it does all these things, and then I start thinking, well, there's probably a reason. Like all of those words probably have a meaning, and I haven't like looked it up yet. But like I said, this is a new burr under my saddle, so I got a lot of stuff that I'm wading through in my brain. Anyway, in the ones about the end times, like they talk about who's going to get raptured, basically, like the believers or the unbelievers. So like atheism, a lot of people that I've known for years are atheists, say they're atheists, and I tried it on for size, and it didn't, like, it just never felt like I'm not. It's only now that I'm all looking at all these religious things differently, you know, and not because I'm like at the end of my life. It's just now they make a different kind of sense, well, to where they made like no sense before. But that's kind of like the thing about atheism to me, because it's seems to be based in the idea that because nothing makes any sense, like why things happen to be like that, it's just random, it just is there. But then like I got older, and I thank God I have an open mind, I think, to where I'm just like, okay, well, that's a point of view. But like when I tried it, it's like, no, that just doesn't feel right. I'm not okay with there just being no rhyme or reason to anything, that when you die that there's nothing. There's too much just stuff that still isn't explained, but like in my lifetime has been in the latter half portion, whatever, and whatever part, more stuff is becoming like revealed, you know, like stuff that's scientific, that wow, that like is something that happened that's in the Bible, and then here's a scientific explanation for it. And then, you know, I have like Cryon in one part of my brain has said, I'm remembering, he talks about like spirit and science, like why is it separate things? It's like the same thing come at from a different direction. And all of these things are like everyday concepts in a way. Like we just don't necessarily think of them in those terms, religious or atheist or any other category. Like a lot of us just don't go too deep with it, and we probably don't have time. It's probably not encouraged to ask the questions. And I had an insight today that I think I asked a couple of times adults like some kind of deep question, or just kind of questioning what, you know, like coming home from Sunday school or something, and they say, oh, what you learned in Sunday school? And I start saying such and such happened. Why? How did that even happen? Can you explain that? And they're like, don't question the Bible. Like they get all irritated, they get all mad at you, and make you feel like you sin so bad, like you just come home from Sunday school, so you already been told you're a sinner to pieces. What do they think they're telling children and telling you all your lives? Like, how can that be? And it's just mind-blowing, because I can think of a lot of ways that can be now, but at the time nothing made sense, and that went on for years, like most of my life. And now things are making some sense here and there. So spirit and science don't have to be mutually exclusive. And one is not one or the other. If you're like believing in the God thing at all, which I finally was like, something had to make all of this stuff, like a brain just fully formed, doesn't just pop into existence randomly, like just any brain. Like the most complex, we don't even understand how this big sweet meat can do all of all of this. But how can this brain know what another brain somewhere else is thinking? Like something else I watched before I turned this on was a Cryon thing, and he talks he talks about things. He repeats himself a lot, but he'll have it like put in a different way in each delivery. You know, he mixes it up a little bit. So anyway, he was talking about like he's talking about intuition overall, but an obvious example that everyone would have heard of is like a mother's intuition. And he talked about a mother just being so hyper aware and expecting the child to need something in some way. So they're like primed for a cry, you know, of any type. Like what pitch is the cry? Like how, you know, or is it a babble? Are they gonna just like giggle and maybe fall back? You know, they're just waiting to hear. Like they're on the edge of their seat, literally waiting for that. But sometimes they'll just like get up and go in there for no reason, and then it's just like right then the baby will need something. So that's what he was talking about, and it just occurred to me that's how two brains can know what the other one's doing from like the other room, even though like obviously the baby's gonna be hollering or whatever at some point because that's all they got to communicate. But like he said, like they'll just wander in there and the baby will be all, oh, mom's here, pee, you know, like whatever it is. Or other cases, it doesn't have to be just when you're a child. Like you have to have seen, if you're not a mother like myself, you have to have seen like a million shows or some form of media that's talked about like the mother just knowing something happened to their child. And that is not untrue in so many cases, and we just tend to just like brush it aside because there's no like quick and easy, like nobody sent a link to explain that. But I don't think that's kind of the point, which brings me back to pretty much even since I was a kid, like Jesus stuff was always like cryptic. I mean, he said a lot of stuff, but I'm thinking of times where he spoke to like apostles, or there was lots of like there's children's Bibles had like illustrations, so there was lots of stuff where he was sitting with people at his feet, you know, looking up adoringly, like he was like Brad Pitt Jesus, you know. I'm dating myself now, I guess, because oh wait, he's like a little bit younger than me. I'm older than him. Well, anyway, then now I'm distracted. He does it for me. Sorry. Hold on a second. But then have these pictures and they'd be like children and like baby animals and everyone looking up, or adults just looking at them adoringly, which that's fine. That's a whole other conversation. Adoration, like just as a personal commentary on myself, I'm not gonna be handing that out to just anybody that like even Brad Pitt doesn't get it. That's something else. But anyway, I always felt like those were the words that stuck with me. Like those were the ones that always made me feel like okay, even if I was like, what? What did he just say? Often it was very like paradoxical, and even like the stuff that they gave you as a child is tailored for a child. Like I'm sure they messed with it, but like the moral of the story usually there was one of those if they were telling it to you. But You also heard the adult version if you were like me and went to Catholic school, because when you did that, you got the full package for that tuition. You got the Sunday school, you got church 4 days a week during the week at school. You got Bible study like every day. They really packed it in. I'm laughing. I have to say though, I only was in until fourth grade, and I got such a good education from them on like not religious stuff. Not religious stuff. So everybody fake teeth trying to move around on not religious stuff. Like I just didn't have to try very hard, and I wasn't into it either. I was like annoyed. And now like people are getting like that's just busy work. A lot of the stuff we in another conversation, don't go over there. So anyway, you get a lot of Jesus is what I'm saying. But as a kid, I was even saying like, and for some reason people were asking me, a kid, like older people, what did I think of like God and religion, and my answer was and is, I always thought like Jesus said like the best stuff, the most like the more I could get behind it more than like a lot of other stuff that I heard, because there was like just a lot of murder and horrible treatment, and at least for his cryptic stuff, at least the feeling of it was of good humor, so I was just I'm just gonna go with that guy. The rest of it, nah, you know. And then, like, as I got older, the other stuff is becoming more interesting. But anyway, I had the thought today that, like, the stuff that he would say is kind of what makes me go with the not being an atheist, and, like, I can like have faith in or trust and believe in something just because like of the way stuff has worked out for me personally. I just kind of I have the benefit of seeing it from either point of view, and then also from beyond the confines of that, and feel like I'm like making my own way with it. But I can refer to either source, right? I just feel like it's like the chicken and the egg, right? That I have an answer for that finally, after like going in circles with it my whole life, and I have to laugh because the answer is so simple. It's like it's an egg, right? Something had to lay it. That answers that. But that's just like that's kind of the way that the Jesus stuff was cryptic. It was like you are meant to figure something out. Like you're not meant to. They didn't have links to send. Oh shoot, they might have, because I think what we have been given to study and know about that time has been so tinkered with over time that, and like hiding stuff is like, yeah, that's the way. Make sure we just had this cycle. But anyway, now I'm being cryptic. But the chicken and the egg to me is just like that dilemma or conundrum, whatever, is like an elegant example of it's simple. And then the answer is like, it's so simple you gotta laugh. It's like the chicken crossing the road. Why do you cross the road? To get to the other side. Oh, the other side, I now realize, is like the other side of the veil. And then, like, oh ha ha. But wait, why does the chicken in a rush to get over there? Does it not want to live in it? See, I'm gonna get all sidetracked. But isn't that interesting? Like, why would the chicken want to leave? Well, it might be better on the other side. The straw might be crunchier. The feed might be tastier. Less cars, less Foster Farms. Let's make nuggets. Or sorry, nuggets. Just nuggets. Nothing. I didn't say that other thing. So yeah, anyway, so I feel like there are mysteries and things that don't make sense, but if you open your mind to things, like everything's a piece of the same puzzle, and we haven't put it together yet. I can't believe I just said that. You know something? Sometimes I got the slow delay. I had this like meme conversation going back with this friend, and they sent me a couple of fox ones. Cute, you know, we're into the cute little animals. And I said something to the effect of, oh, they're so cute, something innocuous. And he said, yeah, they're crazy. They're really crazy. And it took me like a day before I was like, oh my God, that hurts me. Like, he doesn't even have kids. It's like genetic. They just start doing the dad jokes. And I love them. I'm such a dork. I think they're funny. Did you get that while I was in there flubbing the joke and not getting it? And that's just like a delightful little thing that happens in life. I really laugh about that all day now. So, oh, okay, I'm not getting interrupted yet. But not red rum. What's the opposite of it? I don't know. Birth. Anyway, loopy. Yeah, that too. It's like the lunar eclipse and full moon double whammy. I have been feeling like whoop-de-loo for like 4 or 5 days. It's actually been kind of cool, but sometimes I have to, like, I don't know. I wanted to go out to ride the other day, and I was so like, I felt like I couldn't drive. I felt like if I were in a car, I'd get pulled over. Well, I just wouldn't get behind the wheel. Is how I felt. I said I felt like I had some pre-surgery sort of sedative or something, but yeah, just still feeling that. So anyway, yeah, if my interruption's not gonna happen, I'm gonna hurry up and go ride right now. Thank you and good night. Boop boop boop.